Hey everyone, what's up? Yeah, it's a little early. I kind of slept for a little bit, but got back up. Guess the schedule kind of throws you off a little bit, if you know what I mean. But I thought I'd kind of talk about this. You can see it's out down there. Have some thoughts on some big, I guess you could say, big SDCC news. Some major SDCC news coming out now. I know we still have one more day to go, which is today, Saturday, so I just have to wait and see what they do today. But a lot of big news coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. Just huge news. First of all, if you're an MLP FIM fan, basically My Little Pony Friendship is Magic fan, and you were there at San Diego Comic-Con, then you got a sneak peek at the second half of Season 5. And if not, I'm pretty sure by now a lot of you have seen the video footage on YouTube and Daily Motion and Blimp. The previews for the second half of Season 5, mostly the finale of Season 5, and it seems like an old friend, an old rival I should say, has decided to make her presence known. I think her name is Glimmer, I believe in some cases. She's decided to make her presence known again. And from what many people are taking away from this, it looks like she's going to be causing trouble, maybe dissension. Dissension within the main six. Of course, the main six being, of course, Twilight, Rarity, Dash, Applejack, Pinky, and Fluttershy. Right? So it seems that there's going to be some dissension, possibly. Not saying it is, but it's speculation. I'm sure a lot of people are speculating now as to what Glimmer's role is going to be in the finale. So it looks like she's being brought back in a big way, according to the preview that was put out at San Diego Comic-Con. Now, of course, that's not the only thing Hasbro had announced. They have also announced Hasbro has also announced that they are teaming up with Makishima, I believe, the video streaming channel, and they will be releasing in collaboration a Combiner Wars series. I don't know if it's a short series, kind of like just one-shot episodes or what it is, but they are releasing like I said, in collaboration with Makishima. They are going to be releasing a Combiner Wars series. Now, the difference, though, between this one, according to what I understand, is this is not going to be your typical Transformer series. This is not going to be Robots in Disguise that you see on Cartoon Network. This is not going to be the anime Robots in Disguise. This is not going to be Energon. This is not going to be Cybertron. This is not going to be unicorn battles or anything like that. This is actually going to be a very mature Transformer show. Possibly, I would say possibly in line of what you have with G.I. Joe Resolute. Maybe. That's what I'm thinking. So that's what Combiner Wars sounds like it's going to be. Someone along the veins of maybe what we got with G.I. Joe Resolute. Something more of what we, as fans that grew up in the 80s and stuff, can appreciate and understand. Now, that's not the only Transformer news as well. We also got the trailer has finally been released. I didn't know if it had been released in E3, but apparently it's been fully released now for Transformers Devastation. It is the new multi-console video game. I haven't noticed if it's going to be on the Wii U or not, but I do know it's going to be on the PS4, the PS3, the Xbox One, and the Xbox 360, as well as PC, and it definitely looks like a game you want to pick up, especially if you're a fan of Transformers, especially old school Generation 1 Transformers, because that's what it looks like it's based upon. So it looks really, really good. Really good. It's just, it looks like basically the kind of beat 'em up fighting game that you want to have, that you've been wanting for Transformers, and this is now what you're getting. So that is, as a long-time Transformers fan myself, this is just tremendous news. Tremendous news. To be honest. To be all honest with you, it's just tremendous news. On top of that, if you're a Godzilla fan, apparently there's a new Godzilla game coming out. I don't know if it's multi-platform or not. Looks like right now it's only PS4 exclusive. I'm not saying it is, but it looks, I don't know if it's multi-platform or not, but like I said, it looks like it's PS4 right now exclusive. It's a new Godzilla game, and it looks like it's a fighting game. So it's a fighting game, so I'm sure James Wolfe's gonna like that. So it's a fighting game, and it looks like it's got several modes to it. One is like a King of the Mountain kind of deal, King of Kaiju kind of deal. So yeah, it looks really interesting. Graphics look really good. So that I'm definitely looking forward to picking up. Now, as far as other news goes, how about this? How about this? You know, out of all the crossovers you think DC could do with any of the publications, whether it's within themselves, Marvel, you know, Dark Horse, IDW, Archie, out of all the crossovers you think they could do, have you ever thought they were going to do this? It was announced that later on this year, in November, presumably around November, IDW and DC Comics together will be releasing a 6-issue miniseries crossover between Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, this is something that I'm actually looking forward to, because I'm a fan of Ninja Turtles. I read that one issue, the infamous issue where it seems that they nearly killed Donatello, but they don't. So that's good to hear. But anyway, I'm looking at this, and this is something that I'm going to definitely go out and get. I'll go through Midtown, I'll go through whatever. I will get this crossover because it looks really good. I mean, they've already crossed Batman over with Spider-Man out of Marvel. I think, so nothing really surprises me that they would go in this direction, and it kind of fits. It kind of fits because basically the Turtles, especially the IDW ones, are portrayed more like what you had in Mirage Studio days. The only difference though is the Turtles that are going to cross over with Batman are not the Nickelodeon ones, because we do know IDW has 2 Turtle comics as far as I know. They have one based on the Nickelodeon series and one that's based sort of around the Mirage world. It's kind of a collaboration of all things Turtles, but more of that original Mirage take, if you catch my drift. That more gritty, dark gritty take, if you get my drift there. So that's the version of the Turtles that IDW is going to have crossover with Batman, that more dark and gritty version, and it definitely fits. It really does, in my opinion. And we do understand that this is going to be the Bruce Wayne Batman, so apparently it takes place before or after or somewhere in between the whole new Batman deal. So that's nice to see. And like I said, it kind of meshes up very well, because here's the synopsis. Here's what we've been given. The main situation is General Krang, basically Krang, is basically, you know, is sick. It basically had it up to here. You know, he's, you know, sick of dealing with the Turtles. He's sick of dealing with Shredder, so he has to find a way to get rid of them once and for all. And what's he do after alliances are made and shifted and stuff? What's he do to finally rid himself of the Turtles and Shredder? He basically opens up a dimensional portal and sends them straight into the DC universe, basically mainly into Gotham City. Now, one thing that, I can't think of his name right now, but one thing that the individual at Comic Frontline said is that's the only problem that he has with the crossover is the dimensional part, because they had already done that with the Turtles and Ghostbusters. And that is true, but to me, I look at it like this. How else are you going to cross these universes or these characters together. You're not. So I have no problem with the dimensional deal, because sometimes that's the only way you're going to do a crossover. Now, they are going to team up with the Dark Knight. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, seeming as though he's going to be, hopefully be the only way back home. But on the flip side, they also have to, you know, throughout the journey, getting back home, to try to get back home with Batman's help, they're going to have to deal with some of his rogues gallery as well, which you can only assume is going to be involving the Joker, Catwoman, Harley, Penguin, Bane, who knows, maybe even Scarecrow. But it's going to involve a lot of, possibly a decent amount of Batman's rogues gallery as we, you know, move forward in the crossover that comes out in November. But I am really looking forward to this crossover, because it's definitely something that I don't think anybody expected was going to happen at all. So that's great news. And speaking of Batman, I think I mentioned it here on my channel. I'm not really sure if I did. I know it was probably one of them that I talked about that needed to get an animated film. Well, apparently somebody may have watched that video or something. I'm not really sure. But the Batman graphic novel story, the Batman story, The Killing Joke, is getting an animated film. That's right, The Killing Joke is getting the animated treatment from the DC animated universe. From the DC animated universe. And it's coming out next year. I can only assume it might be at the beginning of next year, because you're announcing it now. I can only assume it's going to be around the beginning or early portion of 2016. But The Killing Joke, which is one of the most talked about, celebrated, and most acclaimed Batman stories and graphic novel stories ever done, is finally getting the animated treatment. So that in itself is great news. And if you're a collector of the DC original animated universe movies, this is one to pick up when it comes out next year. So really looking forward to that. And then of course we got several trailers for Lego Dimensions, another game that is basically a take off of what Skylanders was, and it's Lego's own answer to it. And Lego Dimensions is actually a crossover game itself, because now you're crossing over a lot of different franchises into this game. Basically, the synopsis of the game is there's this entity. I can't think of what the name of the entity is. Excuse me. I can't think of what the entity's name is, but apparently it's traveling to different Lego dimension, to the different Lego verse dimensions of all these different franchises. It's basically traveling to the Lego verse, or the Lego verses of all these different franchises, and causing havoc. So basically you're going to have a lot of characters involved right off the bat. Now I'm going to look into that in a minute, but the main characters they've been showing off and talking about that are going to be in this game, in this crossover game, are Batman from the Lego DC universe, what's his name? I can't think of the wizard's name from Lord of the Rings. He's in it. You got Wildstyle from the Lego Movie. She's in it. You got Doctor Who from the Doctor Who series. He's in it. You got Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He's in it. And there are a few others as well. I'm going to pull that up right now. I think you also have The Simpsons. They're going to be in it, I think. Rob, let me check. Okay, here we go. Oh, Gandalf. Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. That's the wizard guy. Sorry about that. And also, you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna have, Doc Brown's gonna be in it. You're gonna have Marty McFly from Back to the Future in it. You're gonna have, like I said, the TARDIS and K9 from Doctor Who, along with Doctor Who. You're gonna have Homer Simpson from The Simpsons in it. You're gonna have Companion Cube from Portal 2. You're gonna have from Lego Ninjago. You're gonna have Kai and Cole. From Jurassic World, you're gonna have Owen Grady and Velociraptor. From Scooby-Doo, you're gonna have Scooby-Doo and Shaggy Rogers. From DC Comics, you're gonna have the Joker and Harley Quinn. You're gonna have Zane, Nye, Jay, Sensei Wu, Lloyd, Emmett. Okay, wait. Okay, Zane, Nye, Jay, Sensei Wu, and Lloyd from Lego Ninjago. From the Lego Movie, you're gonna have Emmett. You're gonna have Unikitty. You're gonna have Benny. You're gonna have Bad Cop. You're gonna have Lego songs or whatever. From Lord of the Rings, you're gonna have Golem, Shelob the Great. You're gonna have from DC. From the Grimm, you're gonna have Grimm in there as well. From DC, you're going to have Wonder Woman, you're going to have Cyborg, Aquaman, Superman, Bane. From The Wizard of Oz, you're going to have Wicked Witch, Winged Monkey, Laval, I guess, as well. You're going to have Krager, and these are all from Lego Chimera. From The Simpsons, you're going to have Bart Simpson, Krusty the Clown. From Back to the Future, you're going to have Doc Brown. And from Doctor Who, you're going to have Cyberman and Derek. That is a big news for Lego as well, is that crossover game, Lego Dimensions. And that's pretty big, because you're not just relying on your own franchise. They're taking a page, obviously, from all different aspects. Because now it's not just, oh, you're relying on all Disney, or you're just relying on Disney or your own franchise. You're expanding out. And like I said, they're taking the concept of Skylanders, but they're also combining it with seemingly the concept of Amiibo, and saying, let's use all these different franchise characters from these different franchises and put them together for this. So that looks really interesting. It might be fun to get. And it comes out at towards the end of September, mostly September 27th. So that's really interesting. So that's big San Diego Comic-Con news right there. If you're a Lego fan, if you're a fan of any of those franchises like Doctor Who, Batman, Simpsons, Back to the Future, Wizard of Oz, you name it, that is some huge news. Then, speaking of other news coming out, if I can get to it, if you're a fan of the Nickelodeon series that I mentioned earlier, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you're going to like this. First of all, if I can find it, but it has been announced